Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for giving me of your time and joining us for another uh, Looped In with Maritza. As you know, I normally start with some local events that are happening as well as regional and national events. But because my very special guest is prime for time and I want to be respectful of my guest's time, I'm going to first start off with saying welcome and thank you to Looped In with Maritza, brought to you by the National Parents Union. And I am going to start us off. And then halfway through, I'm going to bring a second guest in and we're going to talk about some other things. So without further ado, I would like to bring on my guest so we can start this conversation. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's another day down. We got some more kids that learning took place today, and we one step closer to achieving some academic hierarchy, and I love it.
Thank you so much. So for those that I'm surprised, but for those that do not know who you are, please introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Dr. Marco Clark. I'm the founder and chief executive officer of the Richard Wright Schools in Washington, D.C. I'm known as America's toughest principal, and I love what I do. This is my life's work, and I'm a change agent for reform and making sure that we change communities one person at a time.
Oh my gosh. When I was reading about the things that you've done, and I know you get many, many accolades, a lot of things jumped out at me with regards to the work that I've been doing, that I love to do as well and continue to do, making sure that our children get educated, no matter where they live. So I saw some things and I said, I'm just gonna put them out here and we'll talk about them. You said something that really I loved, and I heard you say, which were the three L's. And you
It-
want me to say it more because I gotta hear.
oh man, at Richard Wright Schools, we set limits, we teach lessons, and we do it all in the name of love. We do it because we love each and every student, and we're not going to give up on them. But the question is, will they give up on themselves? And listen, they don't have to say a thing because the answer to that lies in their behavior. Because we just look at their behavior to see exactly where they're coming from.
Absolutely, absolutely. Parent accountability. I am one of, and I just spoke at a high school today. And one thing I talk to these high school students about is how there are parents that are able to be there for each and everything pertaining to their child's to their student's school. And there are some parents that, because of responsibilities that they may have, whether it be taking care of the home, having to work multiple jobs to keep the roof over the family's head, putting food on the table, paying the bills, that they also have to try to help hold their parents accountable. How do you see that?
You know, let me say this. First of all, folks, whenever you took that unwritten law and you became a parent, that means that everything was on your back. Like it's not I can't do it, or I got too much going on. You have to figure it out. It's one of those things that I don't take excuses for the fact that you got three jobs, because there's some way that you can figure out how to be involved with your kid's life, involved with school, involved with teachers. That's why we have everybody have these little smartphones. You can send out, everybody has social media. There's a way to connect. And one of the things I've learned is that I keep parents involved regardless of what they have going on in their lives. I'll let them know, my percentage of parent participation is high, because I don't expect parents to come sit in a room. What I expect parents to do is be engaged, and that engagement could take 15 minutes, it could take 10 minutes, it could take whatever time you have, even if it's nothing more than sending an email or a text. That involvement is something that we've been able to create a pathway that's necessary. So when you decided to have that kid, that responsibility was yours. You are the kid's first teacher. And if that kid starts off in the wrong direction, they will be damned basically their entire life getting started with education. And it's expected for parents to step up to the plate. No excuse.
Absolutely. And it was interesting that young people were asking me, did you have to sacrifice anything in doing what you do? Have you had to sacrifice anything, Dr. Clark, in your journey to get where you are to be able to help the children that you help?
I've sacrificed a lot. I have one daughter, and my daughter has. I've had to talk to her. She sacrificed her father a lot because my time that I spent with other children, I didn't spend with her. It was things that were necessary, I think, that took away. So I had to figure out a full balance to become a surrogate fathers to so many thousands of kids I've been surrogate fathers to, knowing that I had one child that I'm her blood, and she was willing to sacrifice, but I explained why and talked to her through this whole process, and being engaged and involved, never missing anything that was important to her, while never missing things that were important to other kids who did not have someone there to support them. So I've stretched myself thin. I mean, really thin, and to make things happen for kids because that's what it's about. If you're going to lead, you got to be willing to serve, and service comes at a price, and that price means that there's sacrifice along the way. And you got to be willing for that to happen.
I absolutely agree with you. Some other things that jumped out at me is what do you feel about some people's perception that our children cannot learn because of where they live, like their neighborhood, their environment?
Listen, you know what? Your environment that people put on television is just a figment of someone else's imagination. It's about what you have in here, the courage that you have that's going to drive you. Like, I believe I'm a big dreamer. So I didn't get where I am now without being a big dreamer. I was told that I was functional illiterate. I was told that I had these challenges before me. I didn't do well in public school. I did awful. And yet I still had two parents who I was accountable to. And so it's not about where you start, it's about where you finish. It's about your aspirations. It's about having dreams. And so every day I work with kids, 100% free and reduced lunch. Kids come from the lowest socioeconomic area of the city. And yet and still, these kids are making it happen. I was that kid, lowest socioeconomic community, coming out of that. And I still decided that I was going to make it. My dreams are bigger than the challenges. And every time I'm saying my mission now as an educator has been, my mission is always larger than the challenges that are before me. And so if you're going to give up in the midst of a challenge, then I'm sorry, you don't expect to be great anyway. Winning is something that I do. I just believe in winning. That is where I am and what I have to do.
Oh my goodness. For our educators out there, how can we retain our teachers that are doing their jobs? Because so many of them have, I mean, I've met so many that are saying to me, you know what? After June, I'm done. With the year I've had, they're like, I'm done. I couldn't take it anymore.
Let's start here. Some of these educators need to be gone. Let me just have the audacity to say that we got some educators, man, that we don't even need, right? Because they're looking at it as this is fun time. Let me just pop in. Education is just a job. I'm gonna jump in, do what I got to do, get a check, enjoy the summers off, and enjoy the holidays off. But I'm not really going to give everything I got to educating kids. And the other thing is the fact that some of our teachers have to understand that you are the bridge builders to every career. So if kids in poor neighborhoods and in poor schools don't have the best of teachers, the best of educators, administrators, how are we going to fix the community that we live in and the community that we want to thrive? So I'll say this this teacher burnout. How you do that? First of all, get rid of the teachers who are sucking all the air out. Let's get that out of the way. Some of the teachers I had. And then let's also make sure we retain the good teachers by providing a pathway, being that administrator that's going to help push them and guide them to get these degrees and things behind that to make sure that they are certified, to help them along their trajectory, to help provide some type of imagery of what they can become. And the next thing you can do is fight hard for your teachers to improve their pay. When they see you out there working, even if you can never make it happen, just for the simple fact that they know that you will give it all to them and that you'll work hard behind them to support them, will help maintain the opportunity. And the last thing is provide a safe and clean environment. So it doesn't matter where the school is. It doesn't matter that if you don't have all the tools, you can make sure the building is clean and you can lead like you're supposed to, so they can feel safe coming in there working with those students.
And I absolutely agree, because I had the opportunity to work in a public school last school year. My role, I was the school secretary. So one thing, the pay was awful, and it definitely was. But I was very saddened that I saw so many educators having to rush at the end of the school day to their other job because they weren't earning enough money being a teacher during the day, that they had to rush to go to either a retail job, work at a restaurant as a waiter or waitress or a server or a bartender, just to make ends meet. And still keep the, and still they say, Ms. Gertie, I love teaching, but I don't get paid enough.
That is definitely the case, that in many instances, in a lot of districts, teachers aren't being paid enough. The fight continues on, that we got to make sure that we are raising the bar, that we're giving the teachers exactly what they need, and then we got to have those teachers who are in it to help kids win, not allow other teachers who are not, because they're taking away from the money that should be distributed to them. And so we got to make sure that pipeline does not exist. And the fact that we are working to support those teachers who are in it for the long haul, who are really committed to the work, and bring up those things. I've said to several teachers that, one thing about charter schools is that I don't have to go through a lot of the rigmarole. When it's time for a teacher to go, you're out of here. Administrator,
Yes.
you're out of here. And I
Yes.
think that's so important for kids not to be languished with someone who's not working hard for them, and have to keep them there the entire year. So the freedom of that is so important, that we need to get behind that. But then we need to fight, like go and push on the community, these faith-based folks and individuals who can help raise money. It's not just a school district that's responsible for getting these dollars in. It's so many other organizations that could help raise the budget in the school district and help increase the teacher pay by giving. And so we got to be able to increase that as well around the clock. Because in rich school districts, teachers get paid well.
Yes.
And it's not because of just the money that comes from the city and state. It's because they got these organizations who are pouring millions of dollars into these districts and ensuring that the teachers get that excess money to ensure that they have the money that they need.
So the fact that, for those that don't know, charter schools do have that autonomy. You have the leaders of charter schools have the autonomy to say, okay, if an educator or a person in administration or just a member of staff is not doing their job, you can say, thank you, have a good day, I wish you the best of luck. When they work for a district public school, they have the backing of the union, which is fine. But sometimes I felt that because I came from a charter environment as well, so I've seen that. But I'm like, if you do your job well, you shouldn't have to worry. If you do what you're supposed to do, and if your children are learning and succeeding and thriving, you don't have to worry about, oh, they're going to let me go.
And that's with anything. Think about it.
Right.
I mean, do we want people around the world and around the country who can't get fired? I mean, if you can get fired for being a dentist, you can get fired for being a police officer. Like, these are different things that people have to be able to be fired. You can't work in an environment where you got to keep individuals there, and especially when whatever you're giving out is affecting tens and thousands of young people. Like, you have to have a stop somewhere and make those things happen. You can't have kids in, because what happens is you get a mirror image of what I felt. I had poor public school teachers. They were in school and they were just there. Nobody could get rid of them, and the kids had to suffer through the whole process. When we look through the bigger picture of everything, who are we in this business for? We're in the business for the children.
And I recollect a teacher saying, I have my degree, you don't have yours yet. And that's all they would say, as if to say, oh, well, whatever I give to you, you better take it because I already have my paper. And I used to find that so offensive and angry as a teenager when I heard that. So if I hear if I've even heard some teachers saying it now in this day and age, and I'll be like, who said it? I wish they would have shown me who that was, because I would have ripped them a new one, really. But tell me about, and I don't know, if you feel comfortable responding to this, the possibility about the changing of federal legislation that's going to affect the ability for charter schools to exist, expand, or renew.
We know that's on the table now. We know there's some challenges. It's still a fight that's going to happen. We're not just going to roll over and let those things happen. I mean, charter schools are public schools. We
Yes.
have serviced this. We service the same children, and in my opinion, in many ways, we service a more diverse group because those kids come to us because they desire. So that means we don't pick them, we don't choose them. If they want to come, they get a chance to come. So we have a whole melting pot of kids in one spot that we have to create and fight through different avenues of community territories, gangs, all kinds of stuff coming to one hub and one centralized location. And we got to educate those kids. And then we also take on the fact that, yes, we do have more autonomy, but for more autonomy, we exchange it for more accountability. And the reality is that if we don't get the job done in a short amount of time, then our doors are closed. And so we work longer hours, longer days to make things happen for our young people because we have so much over top of us. And and it's not that we're upset with traditional schools, because we're not. But I just say it this way: if Burger King was on one block, do they get angry when McDonald's shows up on the same block? No. That just says that I got to step my game up and I got to be able to stand by my product. And so as long as you stand by your product, put your money where your mouth is. And this is exactly where we are. It's just the saying, when we were growing up, I want a fair one. So a fair one is one that we're going to do. If you're so bad and your product's so good, let's have a fair one and then let's make it work.
That's right. That's right. And oh my goodness. Another thing that I saw, and let's family matters. That is something that you mentioned. So describe the folks what family matters means in your school.
So we have this thing every day when you come in. We call it's Family Matters in the morning. So we got singing, we got dancing, we have battles, we have verses, we have any kind of thing to get kids' mind out of hold up before they realize it. They think like, where am I? And I'm like, yeah, you in school. This is in school right here, right? And we're gonna do all of this and get your mind twisted. You're gonna forget about everything that happened over the weekend, and you forgot that you're even in school now because you're having such a good time. We were going to do that and let you unwind before it's time to go to class. So Family Matters is a time for the entire body to get together, and to share things, shout out kids, shout out perfect things that's happening. If something tragic happened in the community, we're able to take a moment of silence and it means something. Like people can breathe on that. And then we do our affirmations, and we do it every single day. And then we do it in the afternoon every single day, where we are checking in on our kids and giving them an afternoon affirmation before they go back into their communities and try to make it through another evening before they come back to us. So Family Matters is what we call it. That is such a great thing. It's like a oak tree in our organization, that it just does not work without that Family Matters, and that's a coming together.
Oh my God. One of the final things that I would like you to expound about that touched me, that I think is beautiful, because it's something that should happen. And for anybody that's watching, the things that Dr. Clark is saying, it's not copywritten. These are just things that he thought of in working with his colleagues to make a child's school day better. So and I say this, always take the best part for self. So whatever you're hearing, if it's something that's singing to you, to your heart, that your children will love in your school environment, I'm quite sure they can take it and use it. And hopefully it'll work for them, because it's like this right here. The importance of greeting in the beginning of the day and saying goodbye at the end of the day.
That means so much for somebody that that's not your blood family to say, hey, I missed you. Good morning. How was your evening? What did you do last night? What did you eat? Did you eat this morning? Did you eat this morning? You need something. Like that means a lot. It's like going to someone else's house, and when you walk in the door, they're hospitable. They're saying, you want a glass of water, you want a bottle of water, you want something. It makes you feel warm. It makes you feel like you want to be there. And you think about the difference of going to someone's house, and when you walk in, you don't even know if you can sit down. Nobody says anything. They just look at you. So saying good morning, you can sort of feel what's going on with a kid, and you can also pull them to the side even if they don't want to say anything, just by body language. And so with a lot of kids, there's been so many different things we found out in the morning based on body language that has prevented challenges throughout the day. All right. In the evening, also being able to say goodbye means a lot, because we teach our kids that saying good night, see you tomorrow means a lot, because we technically don't know if we're going to be able to see them tomorrow. And being able to say have a good evening means something, because the last thought they'll ever have of you, or you may have of them, should be a positive one. So that is so important for us to do that every single day. We were in school, nobody did that. The bell rung, we left. That was it. The bell rung, you came in, you sat down. It was no good, really good morning. It was just get to work. Works on the board. We changed the trajectory of what we made it humanistic. You can't teach in a social environment and work in a social environment and not be humanistic with the individuals that you serve.
Oh my goodness. So I'm going to pose to you what was posed to me today at the career day that I attended today. What do you feel is your biggest accomplishment in the work that you're doing?
You know, my biggest accomplishment is there's several, and I'll say for the work that I presently do is the first day we open a school, and the first time I watch kids walk across the stage with their diplomas. The very first graduation we had touched my heart so dearly. That was one of the greatest accomplishments. But then the second one showed up when those very same kids, I went to their college graduations. So these kids that through this brain power and vision, I watched them walk across the stage knowing that we had been a building block for them. But then now I have another one. And the third one is watching the kids that graduated from college come back and work in my organization. And now they're teachers and administrators. So I can say to that kid, I saw you at 13 and I watched you through every stage. And now look at you giving back, not giving back, but actually working to help mentor up and build kids up is another formation for me. And to know that that vision was birthed through me and spewed out to everyone with my team to make it happen, that's the greatest accomplishment. And knowing that even when I hang them up, that the mission is going to continue on, and that we're going to continue building bridges for young people so that they will not have to have the same or endure the same process that I did. And that is a wonderful thing to me.
Now, correct me, your schools are in Washington, D.C.?
Correct.
I would love to visit one of your schools when I'm back in DC. I would love to.
Hey, you are welcome. We are about 3 blocks from the Capitol.
Okay.
And it is such a great thing, because kids come in this community and they get to see everyone, and they're walking around saying, hey, I belong. This is we put it here because we want them to understand that you belong, and you're supposed to be in the midst of the networking and the spaces like that. You belong there. As when I leave here and have a meeting tonight with the U.S. Secretary of the Navy, there are 5 students that's going with me
Oh,
to a networking environment. How many young people will have the opportunity to meet the Secretary of the Navy for the entire country, the decision maker that's going to be there tonight? And that is the opportunity that they have. So that's why it's so important.
oh my goodness. Well, I know your time is valuable. I want to thank you so very much. If you ever want to come back, you know how to reach me. And when I believe I'm going to be in DC in September, I'm going to reach out because I would love to visit your school.
You are definitely welcome to come visit us. You can come visit us, and we'll have a good time when you get here. You can meet some of my extraordinary kids. Look, we had Master P here last week, and he was supposed to be here for an hour, but my kids were so phenomenal that he stayed like 3 hours. He couldn't help himself. He couldn't help. He missed his plane because he wanted to hang out with the kids so much. He said, "Man, these kids are so cool. I just can't even believe it. I'ma just catch the next flight." So it was that kind of thing. So when you come, we're going to make sure that happen. You know, we might be in DC, but the kids understand we do everything Philly style. So that's how it goes.
Yeah, for anyone that does not know, Dr. Clark is from West Philadelphia.
That's right.
Yes. So when I heard that, I was like, yes. And I just get excited. And people that are doing the work, especially when it's people that are coming from places where I live and reside. And I'm in North Philly right now. I'm walking distance from Grad's High School.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm 5 minutes from Temple University, so I'm right in the middle in the heart of North Philly. So being able to speak with you today has been an absolute pleasure. Keep on doing what you're doing. And like I said, if you ever want to come back and talk to me, I'd love to have you.
I will be. I would love it. I love to come back. Thank you for having me on. I'm still doing a whole lot of stuff. I'm thankful. I can't forget the roots. I'm working with I once a month. I'm actually on Patty Jackson's thing as well. So I'm her education contributor on WDAS. So I'm on there once a month. We've been doing it now for over a decade. So we got to make sure.
Dr. Clark, can I always hear? Oh yes. My gosh. See? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know you have to go. I can talk forever, so I'm going to be respectful of your time. Thank you so very much. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, sir.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, beloved. All right.
Oh my goodness, we're not done yet. Before I bring on my next guest, I would like to give you a little bit of information, as you know I like to do. So let me get this done so that I can bring my next guest on and we can have a deeper conversation. Anyone that is interested in being a member of the National Parents Union, just log into the website www.nationalparentsunion.org. On there, you will see everything that the National Parents Union has to offer for anyone that becomes a member. You can be an individual member. You can be an organizational member. You can become a partner if you have an organization with the National Parents Union. If you want to talk about a partnership and you are part of an organization, you just need to send an email to info@npunion.org or reach out to me, and I can put you in contact with our strategic partnerships team, and they can have a discussion with you to make that happen. For those of you that may not know, the National Parents Union has a Facebook page. We also have regional pages. All you would have to do is type in National Parents Union for the regular Facebook page, and then right below you'll see that we have a Northeast region, a Midwest region, a Texas region. We're working on a Southern region and a Far West regional page. So that way, depending on where you live in this country, including Puerto Rico, you can become a member on the Facebook page, which is different from being a member on the national website. So those are two very different things, and I want everybody to please keep that in mind. Families, you know that every 6 months in this country, there is an election. Every Family Votes is a campaign that we have been running since the inception of the National Parents Union, because this is something that we really, really feel strongly about, for people to have the ability to understand the voting process, the power of voting, making sure a person understands what kind of access they can have if they're even eligible to vote. In the comments, I inputted the link to go onto the National Parents Union page for Every Family Votes. On there are links that you can click on to find out voting registration deadlines, how to find out if you are eligible to vote, if you are a returning citizen, if you need help if you decide that as a community or as a school community, you want to have some elected officials come and speak to you as constituents. It gives you some guidance and some tips on how to plan that. And all of that information is on the Every Family Votes tab on the National Parents Union page. Here it is again so everybody can see it. And let me go back to my banners over here. Now, there are things that have been going on with the National Parents Union that we want everyone to be able to be a part of. And I've talked about this for many weeks and many months. EPIC. This is a campaign regarding everyday parents impacting change. EPIC is now offering a grant opportunity. The grant opportunity will be ending on June the 1st. In the comments, I will be putting the link for anyone that is interested in trying to apply for an up to $5,000 grant. If you are that person, or if you know of an organization, or you know of a person that is doing the work, that is doing what they have to do to make sure that parents and families and children are heard, if you are that person that's at that school district meeting, that's at that school board meeting, that is at that parent meeting at that school, and you're passionate about understanding and being informed on what is going on with the monies that have been allotted by the federal government to help our schools, and you need some kind of financial resource, apply for this grant to help you do the work that you are already doing. $5,000 may not be a lot of money to some people, but for others, this is like hitting the lottery, being able to access funds that'll help them get parents to these meetings, pay for food for small children that have to come with their parents to be a part of these meetings. Anything that you would need for you to have the ability to have these kinds of discussions and make these kinds of demands of your school district. All the prerequisites, what you need to do, are on there. And for those that do not know, it is also available in Spanish and in French. So if you have people that you know are doing that work as well, and they only speak Spanish, or their grasp of English is not very strong, let them know. You can apply. The application is also in Spanish. So please take advantage of this. It will be ending on June the 1st. Let me go down here. There's some, okay. June 4th, between 1 and 4 at the Dell Music Center, the Philadelphia Home and School Council will be holding a block party. They are celebrating 125 years. Visit philadelphiahsc.org for more information. You may see someone there from the National Parents Union giving information to families, talking to families about being part of the National Parents Union and what we do. It's a great event to be a part of on June 4th from 1 to 4 at the Dell. Also on June 4th, there will be something called Restore Our City in the city of Philadelphia, Saturday, June 4th from 11 to 3. It's going to be a march. It will be a resource fair. It will be a community conversation to heal from gun violence. To RSVP, the link is here. I'm also going to add this link to the chat so that folks can make sure that if need be, if they like to, they are able to RSVP to attend this event. From what I understand, they'd really like people to RSVP because they will be feeding people at this event, and they want to make sure that they have enough food for all that RSVP to attend this special day. So there is the information in the comments for anyone that may be interested in being a part of. My one and final, well, not my final, but another bit of information regarding Philadelphia. 80s, 90s, 2000s vibes, big old kids skate party will be Thursday, June 23rd from 7 to 11, presented by the Eco Foundation. For tickets, you can contact bigoldkidsparty.com. Get on that website, make your reservation. It's going to be at Rolling Thunder Skating Rink. For those of you that reside in Philadelphia, you know where Rolling Thunder is, up on the boulevard in the Northeast. If I am in town, I will definitely go. I don't know about skating, but I know in the center of the skating rink, you will have the ability to dance. So I may be just getting my dance on, but it'd be great to see people that grew up in those decades, the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. The music, from what I understand, is going to be fire. It's going to bring back memories. We need a little bit of light right now with everything that is going on in our communities. Now, without further ado, I'd like to bring on my friend and colleague. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Wendy Gonzalez Neal. I am the Texas delegate for the National Parents Union.
Yeah, and I had Wendy and I had a conversation yesterday, and I asked her if she can be on today so that we can talk about the things that have been occurring. Many people know what happened yesterday in the state of Texas, in the town of Uvalde. And first and foremost, what we need to do, what I really need to do, and I'm trying to find the banner that I know I made. I know I made the banner, but in case I did, I thought I saved it, and I'll probably see it later because this is okay. This right here. My deepest condolences to the families in Uvalde, Texas. My deepest condolences. My heart also to the three young people that were shot at on this past Monday during dismissal time, leaving the area of Simon Gratz Mastery Charter High School. I live literally walking distance from that school. I heard the helicopters overhead, and unfortunately, in my neighborhood, when I hear helicopters, it is a result of something that occurred that is not good. It is not for a good reason. It is normally because there's a lot of police activity due to something happening, whether it be an accident. That's what I thought it was, but it ended up being three young people being shot at, two brothers and another student. We still don't know why. I still don't know why it happened, but there's no reason for it to have happened. Just like there was no reason for what happened in Buffalo, New York, happened, and it's for people just going into a supermarket. My heart goes out to Texas. So Wendy, I know it really touched home to you because you reside in the state of Texas. So can you are you able to? Can we talk a little? And I already know, I'm gonna get upset. I already know.
I'm already tearing up just talking about it. I mean, here you are working, yesterday, and all of a sudden I'm getting alerts on my phone about the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, and to hear that 19 kids were, taken. And I'm sorry, I still get a little
That's okay.
teary-eyed about all this because school should be a safe haven for our kids. It shouldn't be something that, something like this ever happened. I mean, this is one of the deadliest shooting that's ever happened since, the Sandy Hook massacre, and once again, Texas is in mourning because we had to go through this with Santa Fe as well. And that actually was closer to home for me because where the Santa Fe shooting was not far from Houston, which where I live. And Uvalde is outside of like San Antonio, closer to the border, but it's still home.
Yeah.
And to know that our children had, their lives were cut short to another senseless act of gun violence.
And what's angering and what's frustrating is that, and please tell me because you live in Texas. From what I hear and from what I've been reading, the gun laws are very relaxed in the state of Texas. So accessibility to get a gun, do you have to be 21 to be able to get a gun, or
18?
Okay, so this young person was able to get a gun. That for me right there. It's scary, because he's still a teenager. I'm sorry, you could be legally 18, legally an adult, but for me, you're still a teenager. I mean, when my sons were 18, my daughter is about to be 18. For me, they're still teenagers when, at that age. So teenagers, in my opinion, do not have the maturity to understand the concerns with owning a gun, the responsibilities of owning a firearm. And believe me, I say this as a what I consider myself as a responsible gun owner. Um, because my reasons for having a firearm are to protect myself because I was a victim of a holdup. So since then, I have legally permission to protect myself and my home. If anyone would try to come in my home in a violent manner, I can defend my family. We can defend our family. But for someone to choose to have a gun to use it to commit a crime, to do something violent, that is where the laws need to be more stringent. That is where the special interest groups need to stop. Because if it happened to a child from their family, they wouldn't be able to handle it. But unfortunately, because they live where they live and they have the money that they have and they live in the neighborhoods that they live in, it's okay as long as it doesn't happen to them in their environment, in their home, in their affluent community. But everyone else, they can do, they don't care. And it's time for people to really understand no one has the right to take anyone else's life. No one. We don't know what was going on in this teenager's head. We don't know. And yes, people are going to say, he must have had some mental health issues. Okay. If a child, because he's a teenager, is still a child.
Yep.
If a person has mental health issues and you see them every day, they should be getting some type of help. If you see it, if you see someone's mental capacity deteriorating to the point where you don't think they're safe, do something about it. I'm sorry, because I don't want to take up. I want you to talk to me.
No. I mean, I agree with you totally. I mean, the chatter out here between, I've been hearing from, excuse me, administrators, school administrators, who are friends of mine, parents, even my own students that, that I know of. It's hard to witness this. And it's like, who do we blame, right? And something got to be done. That's the thing with the gun violence. And the scary part, it's becoming too common.
Yes.
Across our nation.
I saw someone put a post that I read. And in it, and I'm paraphrasing, they basically tried to say that it was the parents' fault. And that is so unfair to say that. Because again, if it is a family, from what was reported, I don't know if he killed his grandmother or injured his grandmother.
He actually killed his grandmother.
Okay. So grandmother may have been his caretaker. Grandmother may be a person that is older, that was possibly if she was still of working age, probably working. So there are families out there that they're working, or for other reasons they cannot watch a teenager 24 hours of the day. And for me, not to say that perhaps that we don't know if that grandmother knew how to identify any concerns for her grandchild's mental health. But if that child has been in school with adults the majority of their day, as our children are in school, the majority of their educational careers, they're in school. The school whatever school this child attended, should have seen some red flags pertaining to the student when he was at their school. Whether it was at the high school level, middle school level, elementary, those three areas that see children longer than the children see their parents or guardians, Someone had to have seen something in this child, in his behavior, or to give them, say, listen, something's going on with this student. We need to do something about it. So I'm not condoning people saying it's the parents' fault when things happen like this.
I agree on that one, especially here in Texas. I mean, you hear Texas, you hear a lot of us have, our own guns. I myself, me and my husband have weapons in our house, but we were responsible with our kids. We kept it in a safe. We also had them go through a class because, I mean, I'm going to say this here in Texas, we like to hunt and our kids wanted to hunt. So we taught them, we had them go to the game warden to take a course to learn about how to use it. But we also made it safe here in our home, but we did not make it visible for the kids to actually get or, to have the gun. It's never loaded. It's always separated. They can't even get to the ammo. So, I mean, we were responsible. So yes, I agree. It's not going to be on the kids. I feel it's more of a mental health, that, and here in Texas, and it's probably across the nation too, is bullying is on a rise ever since the pandemic. And I'm, trying to deal with this here in my own district now, where, the schools are not helping. Some schools are doing a phenomenal job on helping when it comes to a child being bullied, and others are not. And so what we're saying here is we feel like there needs to be more mental health support, and so that our kids can be safe. And here in Texas, we have what we call a David's Law, which is our bullying law. And then we also have school and safety law as well. And we feel we need to go back to legislation, to our elected officials, is saying, hey, we need to change the bullying laws because we're seeing this more and more. And we also need to have more mental health support because we need to stop this violence. We need to get back to teaching our kids what they need to be taught and not seeing and witnessing a tragedy like we saw yesterday.
It's great. I mean, just like you said, it's happening nationwide. Here, the crimes attributed to guns, the gun violence, the senseless injuries of people just happen to be passersby sitting in a car, happen to be walking out of a corner store, which is called the bodega, or some people call it a poppy store. I don't even let my own children go to the store, and it's literally 4 houses down. I don't let them go because there's too many. I'm afraid that someone that has no self-control, someone that doesn't care or value human life, is going to be angry at somebody else and decide to start shooting a gun in the store, on the corner, or driving by doing it, which is, to me, one of the most cowardice things a person can do. It's scary. It's angering. And I'm going to say it. Those Senate Republicans that are not passing the gun legislation that is on their desks, I blame them. Because if more stricter gun laws were in place to not make it so easy for a person to get a gun.
I agree fully on that one.
With so many states not ensuring that when they do these checks, it is not just to see if a person has a criminal past, but they should also see if this person has a history of documented mental health issues.
Exactly.
Or a history of domestic violence, or a history of endangering children. Anyone that has those 4 things: criminal, domestic violence, hurting children, mental illness, they should not be able to get a gun. And then the age factor.
Oh, I agree on the age factor.
Raise the limit to see that someone's a little bit more mature.
It used to be 21 here in Texas.
Yes, an 18-year-old can't get a pack of cigarettes, but they can get a gun.
I know.
They can do that. It's sickening. And like I said, until these people that think that they're better because they have money and they have power and they live in a more affluent community, Let them ride through our neighborhoods. Let them ride through areas that are not as affluent as their own and see that the need for change has to happen. We can't lose any more of our children. I got a call from someone asking me, did my children go to school today because of what happened? It's scary. It's to that point. Some people are not wanting their children to go to school. One, because they're afraid because of what happened. Mm-hmm. Two, because they don't want their children hearing about what happened because they're scared and don't know how to formulate that conversation. How can you have a conversation with a child about what happened? I have kinders, well, rising first graders, a rising high school senior, and a rising third grader. How can I explain to all of them what's going on when I know they're going to hear it? They're going to hear it about children being in school and losing their life.
I mean, the thing is, I look at it is what good is all of the school funding for our schools if our children risk, their lives daily just to attend, right? And having those conversations with them. I mean, and then they have to practice, a threat assessment at the school. Now schools are upping that up again, yes. And it's a scary factor to see that, or, and how do you have those conversations with your children? I mean, I have grandchildren and I have nieces and nephews still in school. My kids are grown, but I mean, we dealt with this even in my youngest son when he was in high school going to a public charter school. It can happen anywhere. And yes, I'm not saying the blame of what type of school it is. It just happens anywhere.
It can. And when they're raising, their decisions are being made. A decision was made here in the city of Philadelphia to start searching middle school to high school students. Because there have been so many instances of children bringing weapons to school. And I'm like, the bullying does play a factor.
Yes.
The in-person bullying, the cyberbullying factor, and to the point where a child could have been arguing last night over social media with other students, and then they have to fear for their life going to school the next day because they know they're going to be face to face with those same students. Okay. And it shouldn't be so easy for that child to have access to a weapon. They shouldn't need a weapon.
Nope.
But it also involves more communication and stopping the fear of telling. Be a snitch. Tell. If you know that your young person is having what they call a beef online, on social media, call the school. But call the school to let them know names. Because the school leaders can't do anything with just I heard they're having beef. But I don't want to say who's involved. That doesn't help the school administrator.
Well, here's the thing too. It's not just identifying and telling the school officials, hey, this kid is bringing a weapon. It's more of identifying also those kids that are having issues, that are being bullied. Yes. So if they're being bullied, speak up. Try, talk to a teacher that you're, close to, or a staff member, or your parents, because that leads up to something. It builds up and then it leads to something not good. Whether the child takes their own life. That's the reason why David's Law passed here in Texas, is because a mom lost her son to suicide because he was bullied. And that should have never happened. But she took initiative to step up and told the elected officials here, this needs to happen, and we need to make schools accountable as much as everybody else. And so she made this law happen, in which I give applause to her for doing that. And the scary part is she has to go back to amend it because of the issues that we're still facing now.
And one thing that I want to take this opportunity to add to what's going on, what also needs to be stressed and demanded, is that when these things happen, when a child loses their life during school hours, en route to school, at dismissal, going home from school, it should not be considered a non-event. because that is something that I learned from Tabby. It should not be considered a non-event, because you know what? If that's how they're going to consider it, those babies, they're going to say it was a non-event. And damn it, that should not be happening. Just like the kids in Sandy Hook and Santa Fe High School, anywhere that a child during school hours loses their life, their lives have to be honored. So if whoever is in power doesn't do something, it will happen again and again and again. And let's just hope it is not your child, your grandchild, your niece, your nephew. Let's hope it's not them.
Yeah.
For you to wake up and say, damn it, we have to do something. Federally. Not just at a state level. Federally. Holding people accountable for not making sure that if you see that a person is in mental health crisis, get them the help that they need so that this does not happen again.
Exactly.
And for the people that are posting the pictures of that young man, and saying derogatory things, this is not an issue of his sexual orientation. This is not an issue of his being Latino. This is not an issue of him coming from a modest town that may not have high income. It's because he was a child in crisis and no one helped him. And he thought this was the best thing to do.
And he took lives with him.
Exactly.
And that should have never, ever happened. I mean,
it
19 children. Yes. 19.
And that teacher.
And 2 teachers.
Those teachers that we know tried to protect those children.
Mm-hmm. And that should have never happened. A teacher's job should never be to be in front of a gun to save a child, or a child hiding to run from, somebody trying to shoot up the school.
And the answer is not having teachers be armed in schools.
That is a discussion that was here in Texas. And I have to agree that a lot of schools and parents did not agree. Even teachers did not agree with that, because that is not the solution to carry a weapon in school. Probably now they did pass a law, which I believe is Senate Bill 11, or another one is 741, where they were requiring, and they gave schools money to have a marshal on campus that can carry a weapon, but only that marshal. No staff members, no teachers, so they can have that protection. But they did not agree of having teachers, carry a weapon, or administrators or staff. They felt, even teachers were very vocal out here to saying that is not the answer. That is not what we want. Here, what I'm hearing here in Texas, this is, our Texas Education Agency made an announcement to, especially as our governor, Abbott, saying that this was a tragedy. Well, with the prayers and this, we need more than just prayers. Yes. We need solutions. And the thing is, what parents are saying, and then I agree with the parents and everybody else here in Texas and probably around the world is saying, is that we need to support and have more support for mental health. And we need to also, do more about the bullying, because it's still tied to it. And then start having these conversations in classrooms with students to learn how to speak up when they identify something is wrong.
Yes.
Not to be very, not that you're, ratting somebody out. It's more of helping that person.
Yeah.
We have to figure a solution. So I'm asking Governor Abbott, put this on your agenda item for the next session. I'm asking Commissioner Morath, get this on there to change. Talk to elected officials. I'm asking parents to talk to elected officials. We need to do something. We shouldn't be having this conversation, losing kids. A school is, I'm going to say it again, it's a safe haven for many kids. And this should have never happened. Even my own family have chosen to homeschool because they're so afraid that if they put their child in a public school or even any other school system, that something is going to happen to them. So they want to make sure they're safe at home. And that's the uprise, is homeschool is going on the uprise because of that. But we need to make a change. So I'm asking everybody here, talk to your elected officials, demand that we have to have a solution. And like exactly what you said, it cannot just be on a state, local way. It has to be federally, you know.
Federal.
President Biden needs to hear about this as well. We need to make these changes.
It has to happen. It absolutely has to happen now. It has to happen. It should have happened years ago when that tragedy happened in Sandy Hook. Federal legislation should have occurred then to make sure it doesn't continue happening, but to also honor that loss of life. So we cannot allow another massacre, any massacres in school, in a public place, at a movie theater, at a supermarket, at a public function. These things, the only way these things are going to stop is with passing federal legislations to make it against the law, making things harder regarding the ease of use of getting guns. And for the people that are selling guns illegally, buying guns illegally, passing along guns illegally, making the fake guns, the ghost guns, harder penalties need to be put in place for them. Especially if that instrument is then used to hurt and kill an innocent person.
Exactly. And I hope, at least in Texas, that they changed the gun laws. We weren't happy when they changed them here, when they lowered the age limit. And I hope that our legislators, has their eyes open now and start making these changes on the gun control as well. But there has to be more than just that. The answer is not just the gun control. It is more things that we need to do, and we need to be vocal about it. We need to start talking to those elected officials to make sure that they are representing us and hearing us so that this massacre will never happen again. We cannot lose any more of our babies.
Alice, hi, Alice. Alice has a question. She was like, what are the suggestions for change? We're talking about it now, Alice. And if you want to come on and we have an entire conversation en español, vamos a tener una conversación también en español si tú lo quieres. If we need everyone to be a part of this, to demand of their elected officials change. We cannot, for those of you that believe in a higher power, we can't pray this away. We can't. Prayer will be good to help you find some peace, but we can't pray the violence away.
No, we can't. This can't happen anymore. This can't happen. It was hard for me to see that, even though these were not my children, they're still my Texans. They're still my family. Yeah. I can't imagine what those families are going through right now. And, all they're trying to do is wish they had their baby back.
Yes.
So no, this should never happen.
No one should have to worry about the safety of their child when they go to school each day. Because like I said our children are in schools, regardless of what type of school they attend. When they leave our home and they go into a school, that school has our children the largest part of their day. Yeah. That school and those schools have our children the longest times of our children's lives until they become adults are in schools. So we have to make sure that they are all safe. Not just from guns, but also from any other kind of violence, any other kind of accident that results in death and injury. We have to make our children safe.
Exactly.
Wendy, thank you so very much for agreeing to come on here with me to just talk for a few minutes about this, because we know this is not going to end with just this conversation. We know this. We absolutely know this. And if anyone wants to talk to us, if anyone needs to reach out, it is very easy to find us. I'm at Maritza at npunion.org, Wendy at npunion.org. Our organization, We Are For Families. We are not going to let this stop with just one conversation. This issue will continue as far as safety. Reach out to us.
Y para las familias ahí en Uvalde, and like, nosotros estamos contigo. We are here for you.
Yes.
Reach out to us if you need any help. Our prayers, I know we were saying it's not enough, but we are thinking of all the families out there, the community out in Uvalde, because I can imagine how the community is feeling. We're here for you. And we love you, even though I don't know who you are. You are still a Texan. I still care, and I am here, and we are Texas strong.
Absolutely. Como madres lo sentimos muchísimo. Su pérdida de sus preciosos bebés. I'm going to sign off here. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.